Is it fine if they go monster? I want to try monster out a bit.
I don't mind. Yeah.
That works.
Take my monster, that's fine.
And let's do barracks. I like the title of Cal's wife of Divine. Wait, what are you guys? Oh my gosh, you guys are spamming the chat. Wow, modern chat.
Is it that big?
Yes, because you have the power to ban people and stuff.
Fair enough.
But nobody in my chats needs to be banned. Like, I've banned one person in the entire 10 months I've been streaming because they just came in and spammed crap or whatever. Hey, look, Aiden, there's a bird outside. Oh my god. Yeah, she used to be a what was your position? Not a data analyst. Medical
I was a data entry clerk.
Yeah, she was a data entry clerk, so she knows her way around a keyboard. But she played, yeah, Guild Wars 2, Dungeon Defenders. We also have a bunch of Flash games that she likes. Every once in a while, I try and convince her to play something else, but she doesn't stick with it. She was really, I think the big game that converted her, so Guitar Hero got her into video gaming, but the big one that won her over was Warhammer Online. She played a Black Orc, and she
that was so much fun.
and so what she would do is she had an ability called In the Giblets, which is where you basically kick somebody in the nuts and you stun them. And that was one of her favorite abilities. So she played a big old Black Orc, which is kind of like a melee tank person, and she fell in love with that. I hate keyboard and mouse. Yeah. So my wife kind of plays a few games here and there. She did play, to be fair, I do have videos of her playing Wraith and Goliath for the first time ever. If you really want to hear a devilishly scary kind of cackle, watch her play Wraith for the first time when I had the press release copy. It's in my playlist. I think it's in my bonus playlist. You can see her play Goliath and Wraith. Okay, so we've got Kyra, Hank, Abe, and Lennox against a Wraith. So we'll see if Lennox decides to go with the Plasma Lance. I think that the Plasma Lance is a mistake against Wraith because Wraith has a lot of mobility and her arc on her melee attacks is very wide. So I feel like he's getting frustrated because he can't build a tower. Build me a tower, Aiden. Okay. Now, the addition of this tunnel here makes this map from a super strong hunter map to a very, I think monster is very much favored on this map now. And the reason why is because this tunnel is absolute death for hunters. If hunters dome a monster here and the monster plays the high ground, it is extremely scary as hunters as they try and go up. Like, never dome a monster in this location if you can avoid it. And it's funny how one simple tweak just totally changes the way that this map is. So, the monster getting a little bit of food here, decides to ignore the one meats, which is a very, very important. It does look like that we see some footprints, so that they pinged where the monster was going. I like this split. If they saw footprints going this way, you probably don't have to go there. I would have liked to see two maybe go this way and maybe two go this way. But okay, it does look like they're coming back for that. Nice split. Remember, Assault always wants to be on the outer edge, then the Medic, then the Support, and then the Trapper, really kind of just in the central hub area. Very nice use of using Abduct to be underneath something so carrion birds do not spawn. And I really like this move. So Assault by themselves. Oh, Mega Mouse attacking Sound over here. It does not look like that they see him. Oh, and there they go. Misses the tracking dart, it looks like. I think that the tracking dart, yeah. Unfortunate for Abe to not get a tracking dart off in the beginning. Looks like the monster will be going downhill. Really easy for the monster to just coast and let gravity do all the work, to be honest. The monster decides to engage. Support gets abducted. And here we go. Remember, just avoid that abduct and warp blast and you're good. Right now, the trapper getting damaged. I like that they're not doming it right away. And it does look like the monster finally got domed. And fantastic work. I like that Sound is using stasis grenades to slow them down preemptively. Because against monsters, that is a very, very strong tactic. And a lot of people don't use it enough, is to have Abe throw it in the direction that they're going. Because if you can get it and arc it over into their pathway, it's really, really slow for them to get through. So monster halfway through evolution, still full armor. The rest of the hunters catching up, but the monster is tagged. And it does look like the monster really wants to go after this Hank here. Nice warp blast dodge. That's exactly what you want to do. Is once you get abducted, just get ready for that warp blast dodge. And here we go. Abe darted and slowing down the monster. Monster forced to use a warp blast to traverse, and that's exactly what you want to do. What was that, Aiden? And here we go in the caves. Mammoth bird coming around. Hey, I'm not paying attention to chat, so you need a gun when you're going to what you say. Okay, so here we go. Monster getting a little bit of chip damage. Not quite ready to evolve. The hunter is doing a really good job of cornering the monster in this cave area. And it looks like the monster will be... Oh, fantastic. Great denial of food here. Monster going to be going up and around. Oh, it does look like the dart wore off. So this needs to be very careful because now that the darts... Oh, support is by himself. Dodges the warp blast. Fantastic work by Monkey. The abduct is going to hit him, but again, stage 1 Wraith isn't scary with melee. And when you have a stage 1 and it has warp blast and abduct, it's probably 1 in abduct and 2 in warp blast. But either way, the abduct does not do very much damage. So the monster being forced in here, and I like that the trapper is staying outside, trying to find out where the monsters are going to go in order to dome. So it does look like we might get a dome around this little area here. Fantastic work if they are. The hunter's doing a great job of pushing the monster around. Monster taking his time, trying to find out where the trapper is. Ooh, trapper, I think that the monster will be able to go ahead and go upstairs real quick without the trapper darting or doming. Trapper, yeah, it looks like the trapper is too far away to get that away. So the monster going to go ahead back upstairs, going to go back towards the original area, probably eat a little bit of food around this building, and then try and evolve towards in this northwest area. So monster burning all of his abilities, going to try and eat a lot of striders over here. Not eating the striders. I feel like eating a couple of bites and then moving is actually a little bit wiser than just moving. There's usually a few down here, but it does look like the monster is just kind of walking off in this direction. Not sneaking. Oh, and it looks like he is trying to find some food over here. I think he's just trying to get max distance. So he doesn't have movement speed perk. He doesn't feel fast enough for that. Oh, here we go. Some mammoth bird damage. And this grub might get... Nope, no carrion birds. Really lucky for him. Probably because they were technically in combat not too long ago. That doesn't make... Yeah, that makes a bit more sense.
Tracks here. Reaver.
So it does look like that they see the monster. Misses the leap smash, and the support and trapper a bit further away misses the tracking dart again. Gets zapped by mammoth birds. Mammoth birds have not been kind to monsters in this today. Normally it's the hunters that are getting picked on. So once again, they're really, really clumped together. The trapper should really kind of just stay in this kind of like square grid, rectangular, whatever, parallelogram, whatever you want to call it. Oh, so it does look like the monster will get enough food to eat to evolve. But Trapper was a little overextended. Probably could have intercepted that and domed it, but it does look like that the monster is tracked at this point. So they should be able to go ahead. Now, going downhill, it makes it hard for the hunters to follow you. So you should be able to go ahead and evolve in this little area right here without too much issues. But I think he's taking a little bit more time to go into the cave to evolve. I feel that, like, Oh, they do have a Hank. I apologize. This is correct. I keep thinking this was Sunny for some reason. So yes, this is the correct move to go evolve in the cave. You definitely don't want to be outdoors, because if you accidentally get hit by a orbital barrage while you're evolving, it is bad news bears. Here is the team. The Trapper. Trapper might be able to throw a dome pretty soon. It'll be very interesting to see. I think that they're just waiting until the monster evolves and then dome. And the monster is not darted. Once again, the monster getting away with that. Oh, Trapper gets abducted towards a Nomad. I like that he flies away from the Nomad. That Nomad could have been Bad News Bears. Apparently Bad News Bears is today's catchphrase. I want to pay attention to chat, but I also want to pay attention to the game. I don't trust my wife sometimes. Okay, so Monster, I'm paying attention to the game now. Monster hiding in a bush. Not sure why. There we go. There's the evolve. I feel like that evolved. Ooh, and here comes the Trapper. Trapper staying just barely out of range. So now it looks like that the Trapper is going to go in. And I hope that he saves the dome for a few seconds. Ooh, watch out for that plant. Good. Does not get hit by the plant. Dome comes down, and there is the decoy. 2 points in decoy, and finally maxes out Warp Blast. So it was 1 abduction, 2 Warp Blast to stage 1, which makes the most amount of sense. I like the stasis grenades there, forcing the monster to slowly come out. And here we go. The assault needs to start doing a lot of damage here. Probably wouldn't use the plasma lance. Well, maybe, because the monster doesn't have armor and isn't engaging. So plasma lance actually might be okay-ish, but it really just kind of depends. So Monster's just going to take a lot of damage in this dome right now. No armor to start off with. I would like to see a little bit more stasis or a little bit more shotgun. And there comes the decoy. And the monster just staying invisible here. Monster on fire. I like that even Kyra's doing the damage now. When there's no one to heal, I don't see why not to. Fantastic for Hank. Now Hank is going to be a really hard counter against Wraith. The reason why is because remember what I said about Warp Blast? If you can't avoid Warp Blast, but you can negate it with his shield, then that takes away a lot of power. Be careful about being grouped up here as well. Nice defensive orbital here, but it does look like the support might go down in a second. The monster fighting the Mega Mouth, probably trying to thinking that the support was still close by. So the Hunter is able to do a couple of bars of health there. Not a terrible engagement for them. They're all still looking really, really strong. Monster still needs to get away and start eating food. Much stronger than in the first game. So really good job. And that's why Hank is popular. I feel that Hank is popular more because you don't have to dodge shit when Hank just shields it for you. And that's why it's popular, but why I think that there's better choices. Because if you think about it, if you're not taking damage, his shield utility is useless. So if you have a good team, you shouldn't be using Hank anywhere near as much as most people do. And I feel that people kind of learn to face tank with Hank, especially because Hank is so popular in pugs. So I think that if you have really good jetpack management, you don't need Hank, which just means that your team's a lot more offensive and a lot more damaging. And Trapjaw saying hello. And once again, the Hunter's really grouped up. I'm not a big fan of this group up. The Assault and Medic could have come down here, and the Trapper and Support could have stayed out here. Especially when the monster is in a relatively known position. So we'll see if the monster will get darted pretty soon. Trapper, let's see where the Trapper is. So this is a good spot to be in. You can shoot and dart anything that way. And then you can also dart anything that's coming through here as well. So let's see what the monster does. Monster is kind of just hanging back. It does have full armor, so the monster might try and go for an engagement here. But it does look like the monster is really slowly taking his time. There's no reason not to leave footprints if you're this far away. Because the nice thing about Wraith is it has quiet footsteps. It's kind of funny. Somebody mentioned if there was a perk for the monster where while walking around that you don't make sound. and I think that that would be ridiculously strong. The reason why is because Wraith, when walking, doesn't make any sound anyway, and it's impossible to hear her when she's 2 feet from you. You're up here, and she's walking right by underneath you. I dislike that she doesn't make any sound. I wish she'd make a little bit of sound at least while walking, because right now there's very little reason not to walk a lot with Wraith because she's so quiet. That Warp Blast is going to miss. Be very, very careful about fighting here, just because you lose a lot of jetpack trying to climb up here. So we'll go ahead and see how it works. This is a very strong area, but if they can get the monster to follow them into the cave, or outside, even better. Sound getting smacked up against with the Warp Blast. Abduct going after other people. So that's the thing, spread out the damage. Oh, but they're all grouped up. This is a very, very scary spot. This is why you don't want to fight in this tunnel. This tunnel is extremely unforgiving because you lose a lot of jetpack trying to stay up on that area. But fantastic shielding by Hank, getting Kyra to do some healing, and it does look like that the hunters are getting their foothold back, and the monster's starting to take a bit of damage here. Fantastic recovery by the hunters. All up to full health. The support getting a little bit weakened again, but watch out for that Mega Mouth. They're doing a great job getting their foot back into this engagement here. And there we go, there's the Abduct. Personal shield goes up. Oh no, that was a Hank shield. That was a fantastic Hank shield then. Fantastic work. So no Orbital's going to be used in here, but the monster is going to take a lot of damage. So the monster trying to hide as much as possible, just because there's very little room to work. So a lot of times you don't want to fight monsters in the caves, but if the monster does not have Supernova, then it is very, very good to go ahead and fight in here, just as long as you avoid that Warp Blast. Remember, Warp Blast is the most important ability to dodge. Oh, Sound almost could have gone down there, so just be very, very careful. And the big thing is to always top people off so that nobody falls below half health. Ooh, that Mega Mouth helping out the monster. Monster getting a lot of support. Maybe the game finally feels bad about having the Wraith being picked on by Mammoth Birds. Great use of the shield projector. Hunter's doing a really solid job this game. Very, very marked improvement. Just because you see that once we negate that Warp Blast damage, Wraith is kind of a kitty cat. Not super scary, and she's going to go down. Oh, fantastic. I think that the Warp Blast missed anyway, but that was a very clutch save by Hank. Hank doing a great job. Monster trying to get away. Took a lot of damage here. Hasn't made any headway with the hunters, and it does look like that the monster is going to try and get away. Sees that that area is being stasis off. I like that a stasis grenade is being thrown down both of these hallways. Going to slow down the monster one way or the other. Fantastic work. Great job by the hunters on that engagement. It looked really, really scary for a little while because everyone's plastered up against that wall. Then they were able to fall back and then dome in the caves. Fantastic work by the hunters there. Okay, so here comes the monster. He's going to try and get some more food. Isn't anywhere near ready to evolve yet. So let's go ahead, going to get a bunch of meat here, and doesn't really care about being loud at this point because right now he's realizing that being loud, they're doing a pretty good job of staying on him. Interestingly enough, the monster has not darted anywhere near as much as I usually see with most Aves, but this Ave is doing a good job using the stasis grenades to help mitigate the damage. So monster looking for an engagement here. The hunters are going after the hostile wildlife, and the monster does not think that it is a safe time to engage. So monster still trying to find a good position. Going to try and abduct somebody here. Oh, Warp Blast. I'm not a big fan of opening up with Warp Blast. I think that abduct would have been better because then you could have gone over here, Warp Blasted behind the person and shoved them back here, separating the team a bit more. So if there is a dome that comes down, I like that they're waiting a little bit until the dome I think that they're going to wait for one more bar and then the dome's going to come down. So I think that the dome's going to come down very shortly. The Trapper is a little low on health. Ooh, Assault very low on health. Needs to be very, very careful. And there we go. That personal shield saving her long enough for her personal shield to come back up. Ooh, Orbital comes down. I would have probably saved the Orbital. If you're at half health and the dome isn't down, I probably would have saved it for a more defensive position. And so here comes the monster. Monster's going to try and get out of here now. And it looks like the monster got stuck trying to pounce. Nope, there it goes. But it looks like I'd like to see the dome get thrown down now. There we go. Great timing on the dome, and the monster is forced to commit. Assault taking a bit more of a brunt damage this time. And notice if you're focusing the assault, ooh, nice clutch shield. Monkey is just really on point with that support this round. Fantastic work, negating a ton of damage and preventing people from going down. And here comes Illusional, and then again, Warp Blast missed, but if not, he was there. So Assault still at low health again, been precariously low this entire engagement. Just needs to be very careful. And once that personal shield wears off, and there we go. There's that Orbital. Orbital taking a couple of hits from there. Would have liked to have seen that Orbital use a little bit more defensively, but right now, the Hunters are in a supreme strong position. The timer of the map actually ends in 3 minutes. It's already been a 17-minute game. It doesn't feel like one of those ones where the Wraith is constantly running away, but at the same time, it's been a very long, drawn-out game. Monster will probably not get to stage 3 before that timer hits, unless the Hunters let it get away. So here we go, Monster on its last sliver of health. Might be able to get away and make another engagement, but these Hunters are just doing an amazing job of avoiding that Warp Blast again. So this is a great practical application of how to combat Wraith with Warp Blast and Abduct. Granted, there's only 1 point in Abduct, but not 3, but the damage done and the long range isn't going to make that much of a difference from a combat. So if anything, this is a great opportunity to see how to avoid Decoy, how to avoid Abduct, and it's most specifically Warp Blast. They do have Hank, so Hank is one of the reasons why those Warp Blasts have not been hitting, but they've also been doing a really good job of jetpacking out of the way and realizing when the monster is able to go ahead and get ready to open up with a Warp Blast. Okay, so Monster waiting out the timer. So right now the Hunters kind of know where the monster is, but it looks like that the time is going to run out, and the time is going to be what puts lots of pressure on this monster in a moment. So here we go. The Assault going back there, Convince is back there, Trapper hanging back. I like that. I like that the Trapper and Support are kind of hanging back together here. Monster just gets barely hit. The good old bush check. And it does force the monster to run away. So 3 armor bars, 1 little pip of health almost. Not in a good position for the monster at this time. So the monster does get... I'm not sure what that decoy is for. And it does look like the monster... Yeah, the monster's not going to be able to go ahead and evolve anytime soon. So looking very scary. I think that the monster is just hiding out here. I think he wants to do one last engagement in the caves, maybe? And there we go. Monster decides to book it. So I think that regardless, I don't think the monster can possibly win with a relay win now. I think the evolution and eating would enough. So the Hunters could actually sit at the relay and actually win. There we go. The Assault taking a bit of damage. Combat timer has been engaged. Will allow the monster a few moments of reprieve. And there we go. There's the Abduct. Maybe followed up with a hit. And it looks like the personal shield not going to kill Lennox, but really good attempt. And that's exactly what you want to watch out for, is have a monster abduct, Warp Blast, and move reposition. And there goes a dome, and this should seal the monster's fate. Ooh, a lot of extra clumpage up there. Just be very, very careful that you don't get clumped up. And unfortunately, the monster just has too little health to put on a lot of pressure, but really good attempt at the end. Was able to get a few people down. Just needs to be very, very careful. And there goes to the dynamite. Really good game. Good Hunter play. Showing how to avoid the Wraith with Hank, but a lot of good jetpack management too. GG.
G.
Yeah, GG.
Really good game. The hunters were just really on point, and it really just kind of showcases that if you avoid the warp blast, then Wraith is really hard to put pressure on you. There was that one there was that one time when you were going in that bottom tunnel that connects the caves to the upstairs area, and a couple of you were pinned against the wall, and I thought for sure the monster had a very strong position, but then you all went downstairs and you were able to end up getting in a dome, but you guys repositioned yourselves very well and recovered from that spectacularly well. I feel like that was probably the deciding engagement, was that time, because there were two of you up against the wall, and I think you were at half health, and it was a very bad position for you guys to be in, and I'm not sure if it was just good communication or just knowing everyone, hey, let's go downhill instead of uphill so we can conserve our fuel, but really solid play. If someone did call that out, that was a really brilliant job, because like I said, you pulled it off and repositioned yourself amazingly well. I thought for sure the monster had you, and then that entire fight just changed everything over from one side to the next. I like that you held off the dome until his armor was gone in a lot of those engagements, especially when he engaged you. So really solid work all in all for the hunters, and it just really shows why it works out so well. So really good job. That being the case, Porky, you had really good feeding. You were going a little slow most of the time. I feel that with Wraith, you can afford to walk a lot more because your footsteps are more or less silent, and so you don't have to worry about them hearing you. They'll only see your footprints, and by then you're already long gone anyway. So really good job. You just had some unfortunate engagements where the hunters just really pulled through. So really good games. Thank
You guys
you.
had to go full Rambo on me, did you?
Yeah, it was sound play calling most of the game there.
Well, MVP for sound.
Ah, thanks.
So really good job. So let's go ahead and head back to chat. Someone's telling me that the chat seems to be broken again. Let me go ahead and check it real quick. Don't leave this group yet, because I'm sick of this chat crap, because it's really annoying. Hold on a second.
You should tell your farmer.
Yeah, right there with you, man.
Full Rambo. Why you guys go full Rambo?